Hey, what's going on, guys? Kalamazi here. This is going to be my 12.1 Demonology Warlock PTR, I guess, preemptive feedback video. Today, we're going to be joined by me, THD, that's two, I guess, and Mr. BabyBrain, aka Mr. Metro BabyBrain. He streams on Twitch as well as YouTube. THD also has a channel on YouTube as well as streams on Twitch, showing the Race World first and stuff. Links to all their stuff down below in the description. Be sure to follow them, sub to them, check them out, say hey, they're awesome, and they took time out of their day to be here and talk to me, even though THD was raiding when he talked to me. No, it is what it is. So hopefully you guys enjoy the conversation. I think it's about 40-ish minutes long, give or take. I might end up summarizing all the feedback into a document and things when PTR is on like the horizon, like there's more internal builds. Regardless, though, I think we hit on everything for the most part with Demo that I think probably we should have. If there's something I missed or we missed, put it down below in the comment section. Be sure to sub to THD and Mr. BabyBrain's content, all that, and like the video. Helps out a ton. See you guys later. Good night. Hello, everybody. I'm joined by Sir THD, who's over here in this camera, not me, two cameras, and Mr. BabyBrain as well. Hello, THD. You want to introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are?
Yeah, what's good? It's THD. Yeah, what's up? Yeah, I'm here.
That's it. Perfect. I love it. I love it.
BabyBrain. I got a Twitch and stuff. I got a Twitch and a Twitter.
Yeah,
everyone's probably seen it.
I'll link those down below as well. I would assume most have seen your Twitter. Your Twitch you don't stream anymore, but
Well, I stream the race, bro. I stream the race.
That's true. That's true. Very true. You know what I realized, by the way? We're leaving BabyBrain waiting in the wings here for a second. But every single race I've given you the roll of toilet paper on your computer, we've won. And when I didn't, we lost. So the Charmin Ultra,
keep that shit up. We gotta keep this shit away.
Literally. Well, thank you, THC. Mr. BabyBrain's also here. He doesn't have a camera on right now, but he's here. Hello, BabyBrain. How are you?
Good.
Yo.
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. BabyBrain also streams on Twitch. He streams actively, like me, unlike THC. Also, it's a YouTube channel. You have a Twitter?
No, I do not. Just YouTube and Twitch.
You got to get on that, actually. You got to get on that, brother. Yeah, you have to. It's how this game goes. But yeah, so they're joining me today. Thanks for taking the time today, guys, to talk about this. Demonology feedback for 12.1 PTR. I'd assume PTR's probably in a few weeks, give or take, roughly. We've done Affliction with Arson already. We have Destro actually coming up with Zeru and Luzi as long as Echo's according to plan, bringing in some of the Echo spies. But until then, today's demo. So I mean, honestly, like what I've been doing in the last few is like briefly going over the class tree and then just hitting on demo stuff and all that. I mean, this is a super casual conversation. You guys can hop in with whatever you want. It's like we're just talking. There's no structure to this, really. Just but I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on the class tree. Big changes in Midnight. If you guys like it, don't like it. If you want to start THD or if you have anything and just toss it around, feel free.
Class tree. I mean, the class tree is both good and bad. It's good because you get pretty much everything you want, but it's bad because you don't really get to choose different things.
Okay.
If that makes any sense, right? Like, you basically get everything, but you don't really choose anything.
You mean like they're all just like sort of flat, like
you just get everything, or like some other classes have like choices. Here, you just kind of get everything listed.
It's like it's a bad thing in a sense, but
it's not bad because it makes you better. But it's just who knows what the thing is there. Also,
yeah.
the only other thing I hate in the class tree is honestly like no health funnel. Whenever I do delves, that feels terrible.
Okay, that's fair. Arson brought that up in our discussion as well, actually. I was like, I want health funnel back so badly. And he was like, I don't see why. I think it's fine draining life to heal my pet. And then he brought up an interesting point of like, I don't know if you talked about this at all. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you're out of combat, what do? He was like, what if you make it Infernal Beneficiary or Health Funnel? Like one or the other. Like a choice talent where maybe the one that drain life heals way more, but you're in combat, and out of combat you just Health Funnel. Right? Like, yeah. I think it'd be fine. I don't know. But, yeah, my Metro, you have any thoughts? Or BabyBrain, you have any thoughts on that? Or just like class tree in general stuff? Or
I would definitely agree. It's more or less you're kind of locked into choices. There's not really any versatility. It's all cookie cutter for the most part.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think we sort of tended to agree as well, like in the AF video or whatever. I mentioned like briefly, like Howl of Terror and Horrify working together, which would be sick. Like fearing targets in place, possibly for like a mass, like additional, I guess, CC in M plus in a sense. It does feel like we got a pretty like solid overhaul class tree wise heading into midnight. Where you do basically get whatever you want. It's just like cool.
Yeah, I mean, the fact they added AOE curses is real big.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I feel like low key that's our most relevant utility in plus. I mean, it's not really saying much for a warlock, but like I think people undervalue how relevant like Curse of Tongues and or Mass Tongues, Mass Weakness, or Blights are. Also,
oh man, whenever I plug my my Great Plus 10 Windrunner Spires that I do on certain characters, yeah, I love spamming tongues and weakness.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, funny enough, I wasn't even like when I started doing M plus this season, I wasn't even like spamming weakness as much as I should have been. I was watching.
Nah, you should just do it. It's just so free.
I mean, like, I feel like there's a level of skill. Maybe like BabyBrain has like some thoughts of this as well. Of like when it comes to like choosing like tongues or weakness and or weaving them on certain packs when certain mobs die, that some players just don't really fully comprehend, or just in general don't even bother casting like AoE curses, and that's a pretty big issue.
Like, have you ever pulled the pack right before Veximus with Blight of Tongues? Like all three.
Yeah, the mass full.
Yeah, with Blight of Tongues. That's like the most OP shit ever.
Mm-hmm. And the worst part is like when you're pugging it and you don't know if the tank's making like the Ravager pull or just skipping and going into the triple pack, so you can't like blight the previous pack. Yeah, but I agree. Yeah. Do you have any like closing thoughts on that Metro class tree wise briefly, or like I know it's sort of a vanilla topic, but
I think I don't know if it's our drain life talents being underpowered, but I feel like we kind of just rot out sometimes, especially in like higher keys. We're kind of forced to take talents like Abyss Walker just to get extra DR in situations like that, and I wish something like that would be stronger or buffed.
I think like the problem is what was it? Was it back in Dragonflight or the War Within? They basically shot Demon Skin down to basically being like almost worthless.
I think that was like War Within actually, right?
Most of the benefit of Demon Skin is unironically the 90% armor. The other effect is very minimal.
I mean, I'm looking at the talent tree on WoW now. It's like 0.1 of your max health every 1 second, and now it's like what 0.2 and 10%. Yeah, it's like minuscule.
Well, the May absorb 10% is basically useless because you will never get to that number.
When you're right, yeah, exactly. It's like redundant almost in a sense.
You get to that number after, I believe, like 100 seconds of AFKing.
Solid.
Which means in any damage event will eat Soul Leech first, and Soul Leech was like massively nerfed.
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, class tree is sort of generic, but I guess like it is worth hitting on those points. I think for the most part, it does sort of line up with what Arson and I talked about with Af briefly. We are here for demonology stuff though, so I mean, like, honestly, BabyBrain, if you want to like start off initially and give your thoughts on like the current state of demo, we can go down to class tree and look at some talents and stuff too, or just give your general thoughts how it plays, M plus rating. I mean, both of you guys have cleared the rate of Mythic. I haven't. I quit week 2 this patch. But I mean, hey, yeah, if you want to go from that, man, feel free.
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, the current state of demo, it's your damage kind of revolves around a few basic abilities, like Ritual and Apex are worth a major amount of your damage right now, compared to before where it would be like your other pets, like Felguard, doing a lot of your damage too.
Right.
It's definitely interesting.
Is that's something that you're like sort of... I do feel like that's led to a handful of problems like this patch when it comes to like even recent stuff with like there's been some talk about like playing Felguard or Fel Hunter or Felguard and M plus for like the spell lockout and the kick, Axe Toss being terrible, like not a spell lockout, a longer duration like on the CD in general. I mean, I think Felguard's like what, like 5% of our overall in Mythic Plus?
I think it's less, right?
Yeah, it depends on the key. Like
Skyreach. The more AoE you get, the better Felguard is because he's like the only pet that does AoE damage.
Right. I mean, a lot of that is due to like the Apex talent being a thing and also like Diabolus Rituals being a large part of your damage. I was gonna bring up the point where I feel like I sort of want to see a shift away from like just the Rituals and Apex being so large, like of our profile and being a bit more back towards like Felguard, maybe like Imp Dog based in a sense. I mean, like back in the day, like Big Dog Bill was like 20% of our damage. Like dogs were like just chomp and number 1 source of damage. Now they're like 4%, something small. Felguard's like 4.5%. And I mean, you're the one that's the most keys, Metro, or BabyBrain, I'm sorry. But yeah, I feel like that was one of the bigger points I wanted to hit on actually. I mean, have you played much with like the Felguard build versus Felhunter lately? And do you have thoughts on that still, or just like a niche kind of thing?
You definitely feel the loss in like the higher AoE keys of not running the Felguard, but it's nice to have that additional utility to bring an actual kick to the table and be able to kick mobs into melee. Because Demo's always had the issue of looking at a mob and you can just never kick it into melee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean,
that's a standard Demo issue. I'm doing like a Windrunner Spire Pug, man. There's that one guy, the first pack where there's the shield.
Oh, yeah.
And there's just a dude casting right in the shield, and I'm sitting there, I'm staring at that guy, my kick's up, but if I kick him, I am accomplishing absolutely nothing.
And then somebody pings him, and you just can't do anything. It's
no,
like,
I just spam ping him. I'm just pinging him like, yo, someone get to this.
Yeah.
Right here.
I remember back to it was THD and myself, I think Shelley back in the day, talking to Sloot, actually. I think it was like in Shadowlands. Remember the Axe Toss discussion we had? That podcast, like 6 hours we had with him in the Warlock discussion, THD?
Was that before Axe Toss didn't even kick at all?
Yeah, it didn't kick at all. And now we're back, like, it's kicking now, but it's still like,
I mean,
not really
it is
kicking.
better. It is better, obviously, but like, it was always like it should be better than this.
Right.
Like, I think one of the points that I maybe put across is that if you play with Fell Hunter, if you're an experienced Warlock and you play with Fell Hunter has a kick and a purge. I don't think there's any reason why a Felguard can't have a stun and a kick.
Is it PvP? Or, I mean...
Well, it's probably something PvP based, but then you're having a kick and a stun. I don't think it's significantly different.
And that's been my question as well. I mean, like, I don't know if you have thoughts on it, BabyBrain, but like, I mean, for like when I brought up like just making Axe Toss and Interrupt, I think like a year ago in a video at some point, there was a decent bit of feedback or I guess backlash from like PvP because the stun's relevant in certain spots and the kick's relevant in certain spots. There was an ability, I think, just call Fell Hunter, like that was a PvP talent that would give you a kick. It was like basically our Grimoire for a while. I mean, do you think it's like worth just keeping the Axe Toss like the way that it is, being half minute, or like I think there's a world where you can maybe attach like a spell lockout and a stun to it, and it's like smart. Where if it's like interruptible spell, it just kicks, otherwise it stuns. But I don't. Is that too much? I don't actually know.
I just think it should just be a separate button on the mod.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys think like both Axe Toss and then like X kick, basically, like two different things.
Yeah, I mean it's a Demo specific pet, right? So it should, in theory, be more powerful than other pets by design.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like it should have access to multiple things that other pets don't have access to because it is a demonology pet.
Okay.
Because currently Fell Hunter just kind of gaps them because Fell Hunter has a purge and a kick.
Right, and it's a spell lockout and shorter. Yeah, I got you.
It's an 8-second spell lockout that's a 24-second cooldown versus Demo's, I believe it's a 6-second lockout on a 30.
Yeah, and no purge and right. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
I remember. Go ahead, baby.
Felguard like pretty much just brings what healing reduction. That's about it. Other than
he
that,
brings a 20% mortal strike.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing the blue post they put out. Like it was like week 3 or I think like day 4 of the expansion launch or something. It's like, yeah, this is too strong. We're nerfing it. Sorry, it is what it is. It was like no point even fighting it. Like
I do think double kick was too strong.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Double kick was too strong, but there should be a way for Demo to have access to a Fell Hunter style kick.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to be like this master summoner of like demons and everything. And the fact that you're locked in the Felguard, with it being also in your class tree, like your baseline pet summon being in your class tree as a talent you have to path through now, has opened up so many doors to like not playing Felguard or taking it but not having a lockout. Yeah, I think there does need to be some way to like figure out how we address the kick issue or lockout issue in some form. I mean, I'm down to have 2 kicks, or but I think like the interrupt and stun is probably what you'd see like on like the highest possible best outcome scenario if you want to work that way or whatever. But
yeah,
okay. I mean, like
I
Metro,
think that's probably the biggest issue with Demo, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Axe
Like,
Toss?
it being on a choice node would be pretty decent, right? Because you could choose between the stun and the kick. Because there's honestly some uses for that stun for sure.
That's a good point. Both of y'all might remember this. Wasn't it in War Within where we had a choice node between pet lockout and player lockout? I think in the class tree. I think it was like in an alpha. I'm pretty sure. And like you had the option of like a kick attached to your pet or to the player. And for some reason we didn't like it and it went away. That could definitely be a thing. Like just below Felguard in your demo tree, like Axe Toss and or I don't know, some spell lockout. I can see it being a thing. It's actually a pretty good point. Okay. I should have probably asked you this beforehand, though, baby, to be fair. So, or I should have highlighted it. You've been playing since, like, BFA, I believe, correct? How long have you been around on Warlock?
I started Warlock and Nighthold and Legion pretty much.
Okay. So I remember like you and I doing keys a long time ago, like in Freehold and PFA, and like before you were streaming or anything, and you were degenerately patting on the dummies. But point being, so I mean, like you've seen multiple iterations of Demonology, like through multiple expansions, like Decon, Worldbane Demo, more recent Demo, Nether Portal Demo. How do you think like this version Demo stacks up compared to those? Like, do you enjoy this version of it? Is the Apex something that's like well polished and you enjoy the playstyle, or do you want some changes to it? How do you feel it currently is like in this content, baby?
I think it's pretty interesting, but I do kind of miss being able to, do certain cheeses with like health trinkets and stuff, and like
Yeah.
essentially snapshotting your tyrant's energy and stuff. I thought that was always pretty cool and pretty uh, unique to Demo's playstyle.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's in
It's
a better form now, or like?
I'd say it's okay, but I think the older iterations were better and they felt more in depth, if that makes sense.
Yeah. THD, do you have any thoughts on it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the current version. So, my problems with the current version is the fact that it seems. I mean, obviously your cooldown window. I feel like this is a problem with almost every single spec in the game. Is that your cooldowns are like way too powerful. That straight up does you're doubling or tripling your damage during cooldowns, and outside of your cooldowns, you are doing nothing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I feel like that is definitely a problem because they also, I mean, this expansion, they also removed a lot of the synergies where Tyrant would extend pets and
Mm-hmm.
Tyrant would do a bunch of stuff, but it's still actually a stronger cooldown window than it was in like Dragonflight or War Within.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
but not Dragonflight. Dragonflight had another portal, would be fair, but
It didn't last very long though.
it did not.
We went from like the burstiest profile in the game to like a flat line the next patch, and it felt miserable. But yeah, that's fair. I mean, go ahead.
I will generally say though that like while a flat line is like miserable, there needs to be like a good middle ground because what we have right now is like you enter a pack in plus and you'll do 100k, and if you have cooldowns, you do like a mil.
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's like that
Mhm.
that's not right.
That's fair. I mean, like with CDs being a minute though, I mean it's almost every pack in plus. But I get what you're saying though. Yeah, depending on the key level and things, it is a very good bit. I do agree that like a total flat line profile just feels sort of terrible to play. It feels like it's not that great in most prog settings either. Like it varies a bit based on damage profiles, but like you want to have certain classes that you can allocate minute cooldown here, maybe like minute and a half cooldown here, 2 minutes here. You're gonna have CDs here at 3 minutes, right? And you can allocate players cooldowns to certain damage profiles to meet a DPS check. But a flat line is like, what are you doing, right? So felt that a lot towards the end of Dragonflight. I'm happy with where it's at now. Do you think like, so this is a question from both of y'all, do you think that the like pruning of Demonology was a success overall, or do you think Nether Portal like sort of, it's still semi-complicated, if that makes sense?
I think that the pruning of Demo, honestly, probably didn't equate to much. I think the only thing that the pruning really touched on was building your cooldown. But whilst your cooldown is running, you're kind of doing it already. Whereas like they just shifted it from prepping for your Tyrant to whilst your Tyrant is active, you are prepping the entire time.
But you can't scuff it as much though with like extensions not being a thing and Tyrant being dynamic though, right?
Sure, you can't scuff it as much, but you can really, you can definitely maximize the amount of the demonic Tyrant summons or Reign of Tyranny summons that you're getting.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like you can essentially just min-max your entire window for a good 25 seconds or so.
Yes.
Just make sure you get as many hogs as possible.
Like if you go in with like 3 demonic cores, you're gonna spawn a lot of dudes.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the RNG of just cores from imploding and things in general too. That like sometimes you implode on pull and you get 4 cores when the stars align. Most of the time you get 0, and it's like, oh cool.
And then you implode 4 times in a row. You got 0 cores every time.
Phenomenal. Yeah. Okay, I mean, I think I concur for the most part. Like, there are some things that are still min-maxy. I think Demo is like probably one of the higher, I don't know if higher is the word, but like probably min-maxier specs in the game. It's not like Devour level of like Collapsing Star, old Surrender to Madness play, but it's still up there, I think. At least a decent bit. I do want to hit on like talents in the tree though, for like feedback and all that. I'm just gonna go down. You guys can like butt in whatever, or if you have any talents you want to hit on too. The first node that comes to mind, I mean, like your base nodes like Demon Bolt or demoniacs, dreadstalkers, whatever. I feel like implosion and siphon is a hot topic, but just also like everyone's just like, well, we implode everywhere anyways because everything's cleaved, so we sort of forgot about it. I mean, do you think like siphon should be baseline profile, or is it just? What are your thoughts on this? Like both like it being a split talent node and like half-minute cooldown on PS versus 15 on implosion. I mean, baby, if you want to start there, do you have any? I mean, do you have thoughts on implosion in general? Just it's fine.
It's pretty interesting now because most encounters are implosion favored compared to power siphon, and then with the amount of cores that we're generating in total now, it's going to be kind of weird to have PS baseline because I mean, yes, you do get dry spells of no implosion, but also like with your imps despawning and implode RNG in general, and your dogs, you generally do have a lot of cores for the most part.
I mean, do you think like implosion? So the changes to implosion, obviously, from like Dragonflight and War Within and before, right, where you can implode all the imps you had out were being imploded, and there was no cooldown. Do you guys like the 15-second cooldown in 6 imp max, or do you think it's more of like a it just is what it is, simplification, but it sort of works? I mean, are you a fan of it, THD, or just like?
I think my thing with implosion is that implosion without To Hell and Back feels useless.
Yeah.
Okay.
But with To Hell and Back, it's really good. And that's the problem, is like baseline implosion feels really bad. Like most of the time that I press implosion, unironically, I do not care about the damage that it does. It's just to summon the 3 imps that
cores
are
and imps,
backing.
basically, right? Yeah. Okay.
Most of the time, like the damage of implosion is kind of the secondary factor, which I feel like that shouldn't be the case. I think it should be the case that implosion is doing a large amount of damage, and To Hell and Back is probably like a nice bonus. But currently, it is like the other way around. Whereas if you do not have To Hell and Back, you cannot run implosion.
Right. It also feels weird to me that To Hell and Back gives, like with Siphon, basically stacking 2 imps comparatively to Implosion being 6. Like you just get like less big juiced imps. Like if you're playing Siphon comparatively to Implosion, and it sort of equates, I think, to like a similar damage amount, like in Sims and all that. But it's very weird. There's like there are definitely scenarios where like that is not going to be like equivalent, and there's the bugs with To Hell and Back with the weird funnel damage and things too. It just seems like it's not. It's not what it used to be, and I definitely agree that like when I hit implosion in the past, it felt like I'm building mass AoE and I'm throwing it, and now it's like I'm hitting it and I'm imploding, but my meter doesn't really move much, but my imps are gradually doing more AoE slowly. It's just a weird kind of shift in the profile. Do you think the cooldown is good, or do you want it like removed?
I think if they're gonna cap it, the cooldown is fine, right? Obviously, if it was uncapped, that'd be different.
Okay.
But I think for like, for their simplicity's sake that they wanted to go to in Midnight, I think it makes sense to cap it and have it have a cooldown. It makes it easier for players to know that, oh, it's off cooldown. Do I have 6 imps? Send.
Okay.
It's easier for a player to know that than, oh, I have 9 imps. It's probably a good time to send because they're about to expire or something.
Right. All right. That's fair. Anything to add, Baby Brain? Are you good?
That's pretty much it. It's just like a sustained profile, pretty much. There's not really any burst anymore compared for other expansions for implosion damage. Like implosion before would be like what 10 to 15% of your damage. Now it's like 5, if that.
Right.
It's all imp damage now. Like imps cleaving, doing big dam, sustain.
So I mean, okay, so in 12.1, I mean, baby, would you like prefer to see a shift to like more raw implosion damage and To Hell and Back like imp nerfs, or just like a general? It's fine, but just like, what do you do? Is there something you want to see more? Like just more implosion damage? Or like, do you raise the cap of imps you can implode? Or just, is it just like a weird, it is what it is kind of thing?
Yeah, potentially they could nerf To Hell and Back and then bring more power back to implosion. That definitely could be an option.
Okay. Briefly, Felguard in the spec tree. Either y'all can take it. Thoughts? Does it matter at this point? Used to be Grimoire.
I mean, it's just the talent point that you have to take, right? Which is like in that top row. I don't think the talent point realistically matters. It's just the tuning of the Felguard is really low.
Okay.
For like what it is.
That's what I wanted to hit on. And like we sort of got into it a bit ago too with like the Apex talent and everything else and like Diabolus rituals. I mean, like personally, I like to see a pretty big shift back into like pets matter again. Like that sounds a bit like excessive because all pets matter, but like all the pets are good. But like Dreadstalkers and Felguard used to be like in big dog build and like Shadowlands, they're like 20% of your damage. Dogs are massive. Felguard was like 15. Yeah, Dreadlash and Carnivorous Chomping, Blighted Maw, old equivalent back in the day. Now dogs like I think like 3% or something, like in single target, maybe a bit more. I might be mixing it up with something else, but they're super low. And a lot of it's fueled by the Apex being so strong, Tyrant being a minute cooldown, Rituals from Diabolist, and also a bit of like Abyssal Dominion fueling other pets and things too during that. But I mean, I guess we hit on it a bit already, but are you guys happy with that profile? Or is it like I feel like it'd be almost like better but worse for like M plus in general, having that more consistent pet cleave, but also like not as bursty. We sort of hit on it in both perspectives already, but like, would you guys prefer to see something like that, or is it more just like this is a new kind of demonology angle, and we're just living in Dominion over Argus' world?
I think I mean, I think it's fine if the new cool Apex talent does a lot of damage, because they also want you to take the Apex talent, right? They don't want a scenario where you're not taking the Apex.
Right.
There is obviously, a couple classes in the game where they do not take their Apex, but they've obviously tried to fix that. So
right, that's fair.
I think that for the most part, I think when the expansion launched, the Apex was grossly overtuned. I think now it is in a better state than it was at the start of the expansion, because they did nerf the numbers of it, and they did give damage elsewhere, I believe, right? So
right.
It is probably in a better state than it was at the start of the expansion.
Okay.
I'd say that the Apex is probably in a pretty good state.
Okay, that's fair. I Metro, do you have any like I guess general? I keep calling you Metro, by the way. I'm sorry, BabyBrain. Do you have any? No. That's the name you use. I'm just old. I'm senile. But
it's all good.
As far as like talents are concerned, tuning wise, I mean, do you have any like that just come to mind? Like, hey, this is not played anywhere. This needs attention, or maybe it was like left behind, like compared to like midnight updates. Like Sack Souls comes to mind for me. Like not really played anywhere. No imp extensions anywhere from Tyrant. It's just bad. Like, do you have thoughts on anything else? I mean, this is like your stage here too. I mean, do you have any like general input on talents? Like maybe the gate 2's bloated, or thoughts in general you want to give on the tree, or
maybe they could shift a little bit of power, like not too much from the Apex, and just throw it back into Demon Bolt and stuff like that. Because Demon Bolt also was nice to see deal damage at some points in time in our history.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I also think that the problem is, right, I believe Soul Harvester has a lot of Demon Bolt modifiers, so...
Yeah. It does. I mean, like, it's I don't know. To me, like, the hero talents, Diabolus feels like the Demonology hero talent, and Soul Harvester is just like it's AF, but it's here for Demo because they have to overlap in a sense.
I think my favorite part is after they tuned both Soul Harvester and Demo, I'm pretty sure the only scenario where I've actually played Soul Harvester is Voracious, and that's because your pets are bugged and can't hit them.
Yeah. You don't even play it there anymore. Now it's Diabolist again, right? Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, like the shard gen like you get from Tyrant thing, like the 3 shards you get from Tyrant with Shadow Death feels like nowhere near as relevant as what happens with AF when you Soul Harvest or Dark Harvest with Soul Harvester. Like the shard gen with Demo is way better than what Affliction is, right? I was sitting here actually trying to like think of questions for Soul Harvester stuff specifically because like I mean it's just mostly passive things like teachings, anathema, like even when it comes to like shared fate or feast of souls, it's mostly just passive things. Like I feel like rotationally it really doesn't change much. Like your backpack demon just spawns in, it does damage, things flail around, this dot goes up, this does XYZ, and then it just despawns. And the only real thing you feel is like your shards when they come in. That's it. Like Diabolus like changes, like I mean, there's Ruination, there's Infernal Bolt, there's the demons spawning in, you see them all spawning in too in this big like insane animation. Like, even the eyeballs are passive damage buffs, but like it feels like Diabolus is just like more of the demonology talent versus Soul Harvester being like we had to make it overlap with 2 specs, and here's the watered down version. Not saying it's bad, it's just different, right? I mean, yeah, I don't know. I was gonna hit on them a bit, but like, do you have any thoughts on it? Like, as far as what they could change with this, or do you think it's like just a bygone product of like Affliction being more Soul Harvester based?
I think it's just the way hero talents kind of play out. I feel like most specs or classes in the game kind of just have like one hero talent that each spec can play.
That's fair.
It's not like it's just a tuning thing, right? Like reality is like the moment they buff Soul Harvester, hey, everyone's playing Soul Harvester.
Yeah, I numbers are numbers for sure. Like whatever's better in like X scenario you're gonna play. But I feel like you like the shard gen you get for Affliction hitting Dark Harvest with Soul Harvester feels like insane. Like I mean, for Demo when I Tyrant, it's okay, cool. I cast one less.
I think that's also a problem with like a shard economy. you know, Aff just generates significantly less shards than Demo, and Destro is somewhere in the middle of both those specs.
That's fair. I mean, that's a a topic I covered with Arson, but I mean,
that's like another thing where you're sitting there and it's like, you know, Soulburn. Oh, you need a gateway? I'm Demo, no problem.
Dude.
You need a gateway? I'm Aff. Hold on,
yep,
bro.
I remember hard cast that real quick.
I remember I played Aff on, I think it was like Sarkareth at some point. Like, oh, I can't put a gate down right now. Hold on, give me a second. Hold on, I'm casting it. Yeah, that definitely feels terrible. I mean, honestly, like, as far as the Demo discussion goes, I mean, I think, like, okay, so I guess, like, the one or two final questions I have, like, are there any other talents you guys want to hit on as far as, like, Demo's concerned in the spec tree? I mean, like, Sack Souls is whatever. I mean, I think there's, like, undertuned ones, like Tactics. Or sorry, in the Demo, like, spec tree, yeah. Like Doomguard, Doom,
I mean, there's just a couple of undertuned talents, right? I mean,
yeah.
The Doom section, Sack Souls is undertuned. Stabilized Portal is, like, one incredibly niche use. Otherwise, it's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's just a couple of undertuned talents.
Yeah, Dominant Hand's mostly useless. There's not really
much
use
right.
for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's fair. Okay. What is the one? So, a question from both of y'all, and then we'll get into, like, Aff and Destro briefly. What's the biggest thing you want to see change for Demonology? THD, you can go first. If it's one thing you wanted to change, like heading into the next patch, PTR, it could be M+, rating, whatever you want. What would it be?
My dogs don't feel powerful enough, bro. We need some more dog.
Okay, that's fair. I think a lot of that way. Oh, that was the. Which talent was that? Was that just the
tier set, right?
Oh, the big dog from Undermine, right?
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Dread, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like the ones with the imps right on their back.
I just like when the dogs do damage. They kind of feel good.
That's fair. It does feel like a big dog build is not as strong, anywhere near as strong as it used to be back in the day.
Right now, I feel like I press my dogs, and it's actually just a waiting period for the cores.
Honestly, yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It feels a little counterintuitive, like with dog extensions at times, too, when you want cores for your ritual, and you're waiting for them to expire, and it's like, oh, great, cool. But, yeah. Do you have any thoughts, Baby, on what you want to change versus one thing? Or
pretty much just Felguard, if that, like the stun, and then just the damage.
Axos. Okay. So I guess we all sort of agree a bit of a shift back to, like, a bit more Felguard slash dog slash, I guess, imp damage or whatever. Even though, like, Ruination and Apex are strong, it'd be nice to have other pets doing more damage again, too. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. I mean, now this is, like, the floor is both of y'all's. Thoughts on Destruction or Affliction? This can be a brief one. I mean, it's mostly Demo based, but I mean, TH is smiling, so we haven't done the Destro video yet. But feel free to F about it. And Affliction, I mean, we already did, but
I mean, my problem is, like, here's the thing about Destro and Aff, right? So it's obviously been, you know, if you've been playing around for a bit, yeah, you know, Warfin, Destro was played a lot, but like before Warfin, Dragonflight, Demo was played a bunch, and Demo's looks like it's being played a bunch now, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that of, like, talent tree balance. And, like, I feel like in War Within, Destro got a pretty decent kit in its talent tree with Shadowburn.
Okay.
Right? And that's what enabled Destro to do a lot of what it did. And then also in War Within, there was a lot less of what I would call, like, ad slop fights, where, like, basically it's fights where you know how it goes, right? You see it all the time. They even have it on, like, Lura and stuff. Like, you just spawn, like, a bunch of ads that are completely meaningless and die in 10 seconds.
Right.
And you either A, kill them or you wipe, or B, you, I don't know, if you don't kill them, you wipe. So you have to play something that does any amount of passive cleaver on the boss, since sacking boss damage is not worth it. It's like, oh, you know, Affliction, what's the one fight that Aff is actually good at? And it's dragons. And the reason it's good at dragons is because those ads are spread out all around the room, and they don't have to die instantly, so they don't all instant. And then, by the way, the moment you play with, like, 2 or 3 DKs in the raid that mass grip them, you want to log out of the game.
Yeah, because I cast my seed, and I watch them dying, and my seed is flying to them. Oh, that's great. They're dead already. Phenomenal. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
currently, the game has a problem where every spec in the game just does a random amount of cleave by hitting a mob. And I mean, we even like displayed this on Anseric. I don't know if you like watched the P3 Anseric strat where you just run the boss through all of the ads like some crazy man, and everything just dies on the way there.
Right. You sort of meat grinder.
And Destro
right?
was bottom of the meter on that fight. Why? It can't do that.
Okay.
Yep.
That's fair. I mean, I do agree.
That's currently Demo can do that. That's the thing is Demo has that profile, and that's why you see it being played all this tier.
That in conjunction with Demo being like the best single target spec we have. Also, like you have the best single target and the best stat cleave. Like most of your spells is AoE, like Dogs, Implosion, which also just fuels more rituals.
The AoE, and you don't have to think about it at all. You just
thought process.
It just happens. Whereas with Aff and Destro, you have to cast Rain of Fire. You have to commit your resource into AoE, or with Aff you have to seed. And then Aff has the whole thing where the whole talent tree at the bottom is completely cooked. And then Demo has none of those issues.
So is that more of an issue of like Demo is too strong in that scenario, or you think Aff and Destro are lacking in those areas compared to Demonology?
I think the reality is that Aff and Destro are lacking because the majority of the good specs in the game all do that type of damage.
Okay.
If there was only a couple of specs that did that type of damage, I would say that Demo is too strong. But I think it is the opposite because you have so many specs where the moment stuff sits stacked up, it instantly dies. And unless you were to nerf every one of those other specs, then Aff and Destro would be fine. But currently, that is not the case.
Maybe do you have any thoughts on that as well, or just in general, Aff Destro stuff?
Similar thoughts. Like Demo gets the best of both worlds. It gets single target and stacked cleave, which caters to like pretty much every encounter, including Mythic Plus. Really good in the raid. Affliction just essentially has most of its issues in the talent tree, right? Because you're kind of forced down two paths. You got single target, you got AoE. You can't really choose between both.
Yeah.
And then Destro, I feel like just has a bunch of dead talents. Like Rift and CDF are just essentially unusable at this point, right? They need to be either super buffed or full reworked.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Rift is like in a state that it is now. I feel like it's one of those talents you can just build upon. Like, I think they built upon it a bunch in like Warcraft and Alpha. They had like Rift and Flame Rift and Space Time, which is an old legendary effect, and like the random. They had like 4 talents around it. And they just scrapped them all. It was okay. Now we have some random proc. I don't think it even works with the Overfiend 100%. It's either buggy or like a low proc chance or something weird with it, and then it just doesn't do anything. Right? It's thematically it's there, but it's like. Yeah, I feel like Destro Capstones took a step back, like this expansion compared to what we had in Warthen and Dragonflight. Like they combined Overlord with Soulfire, Decimation's gone, Minute and a Half Infernal's weird. Like CDF is a capstone that no one ever plays. Yeah, so that's fair. You did mention briefly like the Aff splitting of the tree too, which Arson also hit on a good bit. I think back to the days of like in it was Warthen where it was Rapture, Seed, and then Sow in the tree, and now it's like Agony, Seed, but then Sow's at the very bottom of the tree, and you just can't get over anything. Like it's literally all AoE or like all single target. You can sack some things, like sacking Sacrolash for like shard instability, or even like some Hellcaller bows are playing Grasp. It just feels bad, right? And so
yeah, and having like longer cooldowns too, especially with the ad slop, just feels really bad.
Yeah.
Dark Glare being 2 minutes, Infernal even being 1.5 doesn't even feel that great.
Yeah, and plus you have like this weird minute malevolence. You're playing Hellcaller, which I mean that's sort of I guess fixed in a sense with Inferno, but not really. Like the change is just like in 1205. Do you think I guess both y'all, BabyBrain, you can go first. Do you think Dark Glare should be a minute cooldown? Like whether it's tied to Grasp in its current form next patch or not? It's like 2 minutes with Grasp feels weird as shit right now. Like, do you think Dark Glare being a minute cooldown would shore up a lot of Aff's problems, or it just should be that way in general based on the way the game's going, like profile wise?
I just don't think Dark Glare does anything.
100%, yeah, it doesn't do anything, so it should be a shorter CD.
Okay, I mean,
like that's the problem. Is I feel like with Destro, your cooldown interacts a bit because you get more shard jam. With Demo, your cooldown interacts a bit because during your cooldown, your hands only cost 2 shards instead of 3, and you're summoning a demon. But with Aff, when I press Dark Glare, I don't feel anything.
Right.
Supposedly your dots do more damage.
Yeah, but dots are pointless.
Yeah. And they don't extend anymore either. Like, it doesn't extend dots, so...
Yeah, the thing is, dots, they don't do damage.
Yeah.
Like, the only dot that actually does, like, any damage whatsoever is when you put up, like, 10 UAs on one mob.
Yeah. And then even... Go ahead, yeah.
Even then, it doesn't feel like it's doing that much.
Yeah. And like, then do you want to cast Malefic Grasp with the 10 UAs up? But like, some of them are falling because you cast 5 or 6 of them already. So it's like you're not getting full UA value because Dark Lair doesn't extend dots anymore, which is counterintuitive with Malefic Grasp. And then like, I feel like we had Dark Harvest and we had Dark Lair, both extending dots in beta, and both might have been a bit excessive. I'll give you that much. But like, I agree, Dark Lair fundamentally doesn't really do anything. Like, the dot amp feels bad, dots don't do much. And like, having Grasp be tied to a 2-minute cooldown that requires you to be stationary for the Grasp channels, on top of dots not doing anything, it feels like it was just like we got AF into a really fun state in alpha and like mid beta, and had to pull back on things, and we'll fix it in a later patch. And I'm hoping it's 12.1, but like, I remember the post they put out, a blue post saying, hey, we're removing dot extension from Dark Lair and Dark Harvest because we don't want you pooling cooldowns or pooling resources for cooldown windows. And I thought to myself, like, every class does that for the history of this game. Like, I don't know, like, what does that mean? Like, we're still pooling shards. Like, the changes don't change that. Like, so Dark Lair increases dot damage now, it doesn't extend. You're still pooling for that all the same. It doesn't change anything. But like, it made it so Grasp is worse and Dark Lair is worse, and yeah. So I think Minute Dark Lair, like, me personally, would be good. I think it'd be solid. But I think we should bring back some kind of like dot extension as well. And dots in general need to matter. When I roll 5 UAs on a mob and it's dying at the same rate when I had 0, it's just miserable.
The reality is there needs to also be fight design to help with that. It feels like most fights nowadays, it's just, oh, here's the boss, and here's like a bunch of meaningless ads that you just put on top of the boss. There needs to be, you know, there are fights that was a bit excessive in the past. Looking at like Coven of Shavara, that was excessive.
Yeah,
a bunch of stationary ads on the sides of the room, that was excessive. But there can be like a solid mix. You know, honestly, I think that actually a decent example of this is actually in the new Sporefall raid. There is two distinct group of ads, but there's also that one ad that can't move on the side of the room. I think they need to experiment more with having those ads that cannot be moved and are off to the side a bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair. Yeah, Metro,
because that is the keystone to a lot of Destro and athletes profiles, is having that ad that's kind of on the side that cannot be hit as easily by
the console cleave. Right, yeah.
Spread prio target cleave is what they're designed for, and they just don't see use of those profiles at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair. Plus, Demo does it better all passively, right? I mean, like, if there's a world where you can get Seed and So, like, in conjunction with, like, Echoes and or Cascading Calamity, or really like Xavius' Gambit, the UA modifiers, sure, you might see it played in some fights like that, but you can't. It takes your entire bottom of the class tree, and it's literally, you want AoE or you want single target. You cannot get both. And the classes that do both are typically the better classes and specs in this game. So, yeah. I think AF is fun. I think it's a very fun version of AF. I love seeing UA back. I think we were, like, 90% of the way to being really, really good in alpha and beta. Then we went back to like 70 and like 60. Now we're like halfway there. It got gradually a little bit worse during later parts of beta, but hopefully in 12.1 some changes come to it. And yeah, so do you have any thoughts on that, baby? Or are you just like sort of in agreement?
Yeah, it kind of sucks to get like a rework for a spec and then just see no play with that spec, especially going into a new expansion. So hopefully they do improve upon that.
It is sort of weird, because I feel like most of the specs that they highlight for like an overhaul, or I guess new specs get a lot of like play early on. Like, I mean, Devourer, I guess other classes that Havoc for a while when it came out, but like years ago. But I mean, like, yeah, App was like one of the bigger, people are pump UAs back, and it's like, oh, cool, but UA doesn't do anything, and we see zero play.
Yeah, I mean, if you want like a good example of this, they have their fights. They're just very far few between. Like, the thing is, right? Like, when's the one time you play Destro this tier? You know, it's Crown of the Cosmos, and it's because there is one ad over there. There's one ad right over there, and nobody can really hit it too easily.
Yeah.
And even then, Destro's not like super powerful, but it has its niche. And because it has its niche, it's actually a competitive spec there.
Yeah. So I guess it's more of like a mix of just niches not being built upon enough or emphasized enough in like damage profiles on fights, just sort of like with the meat grinder cleave we're talking about being a thing.
I would say that's a lot of it. The thing is, though, that AF also has a problem where it doesn't feel like a spread cleave spec anymore. It's just another AoE spec.
Just dots don't matter, though, right? Like, you put up dots,
dots are so weak, and I mean, if you check like your breakdown on AoE, it's just seed.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Or
they
Dark
need to bring
Harvest.
the power back to dots, because like you're kind of just pumping your UAs into your haunt target the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas before you would like kind of spread your UA just to get like more execute value, and it's just not even really worth doing that anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I feel like that was sort of the intent with Malefic Grasp, but then like it got attached to Dark Glare, and then it became this weird cooldown where it's like, it does for a little bit, but not a whole lot. And I think it'd be cool to see Grasp like just brought back to a similar playstyle where it was in beta, where like you did hold it, tried to fish for procs, but at the same time, like you knew when you were hitting it, like you were flaring up your dots, and it made them matter more often than once every 2 minutes. So maybe that's like minute Dark Glare, maybe it's a graph change. Realistically, I mean, maybe just something like there's other talents too you can bring back. Rapid Contagion was an old one where you just had like 3 shards, dots all flared up in PvP and did a lot more damage. That was cool. But there's a lot of cool talents in the tree, like old Dark or Death's Embrace being back is sick. I like Cascading Calamity. I like Seed and AoE, but it feels like we just sort of, they don't really mesh very well together. It's like different parts, like in a box, you just sort of, they all do their own thing. But yeah, so okay, well, that's it. I mean, do you guys have any closing thoughts or anything else you want to say on any spec or THG or Mr. BabyBrain or?
I don't think so. I think we talked pretty much about most of the specs, and they're like their flaws
Okay.
and stuff.
Yeah, I
All
would agree
right.
so.
Cool. Well, yeah, I appreciate you guys taking the time. Be sure to check out THD, Mr. BabyBrain, on, well, BabyBrain on Twitch and YouTube, THG, on both when he streams the race, but, you know, and also on Twitter. I'll put all the links down below. GG, say GN, THD.
GN, I love you.
Oh, you too. I love you too, Mr.
GN.
BabyBrain. GN, GN, GN.